If you've been following the recent Campfire Chat stream, you know that Season 4 is coming out in May, and with it comes some major changes. Season 3 was a literal disaster, so if the developers want to get some players back from other AIPGs, where devs actually listen to players and don't add $60 cosmetic items into the shop to boost their sales, then Season 4 has to be a banger. My name is Tiver, and today I'm going to summarize the upcoming changes to itemization in Diablo 4 for all the 5 players who still have some faith in the game. Frankly, Season 3 was a disappointment, and a lot of the community's faith in the game's future was shaken. With Season 4 on the horizon, the pressure is on for Blizzard to deliver something substantial. These changes to itemization aren't just nice to haves, they're absolutely critical if Diablo 4 is going to retain its player base. First up, let's talk about the general itemization changes you can expect to see. The loot quantity will be reduced, but there will be a higher quality of loot dropping. Additionally, the affix pool is getting a much needed overhaul, with many useless affixes, such as damage on Tuesdays, being axed from the game. It's about time, to be honest. Players have been clamoring for more meaningful choices when it comes to gearing up, and it looks like Blizzard is finally listening. This should streamline the itemization process and make it easier to find gear that's relevant to your character build. They still won't add the loot filter we've been asking for nearly a year now, of course. Legendary and unique items will now be tradable, except for Uber Uniques, and this adds a new layer to the in-game economy. And let's not be naive here, it will also boost the real money transactions going on around Diablo 4. World Tier 3 will exclusively drop sacred items, while World Tier 4 will feature ancestral items, giving players faster progression paths. Furthermore, legendary items will now have 3 affixes instead of 4, and rare items will have 2 affixes instead of 4. Forgotten Souls will have new drop sources, including Whispers and Elites, providing additional avenues for players to acquire these. Lastly, Uber unique items will start dropping from level 55 monsters. Next, let's talk about the updates to the Codex of Power. All legendary aspects can now be found in the Codex. Salvaging a legendary item at the blacksmith will upgrade the aspect's values within the Codex. Legendary aspects with maxed out values will now only drop in World Tier 4, giving players an additional incentive to tackle the game's highest difficulty. You'll be able to use the best rolled affix unlimited times from the Codex. Now onto the new systems being introduced, starting with greater affixes. Affixes now have a chance to appear as greater affixes, which are 1.5 times more powerful than regular affixes. These greater affixes can only appear on ancestral, legendary, or unique items, adding another layer of rarity and power to high-end gear. There will be an indication when an item with a greater affix drops. They cannot be crafted or rerolled into, ensuring that their acquisition remains tied to gameplay and loot drops. Tempering is being added to the game. It's a new crafting system that adds depth to item customization. Tempering manuals will add 1 out of 4 affixes to an item randomly. Ancestral items can have up to 2 tempered affixes applied to them. Items will have limited tempering durability, which is the number of times you can reroll a tempered affix. This adds a resource management aspect to the crafting process, but also a possibility to simply ruin your item. Lastly, masterworking. A new late-game item upgrading system with 12 ranks, masterworking allows players to further enhance their gear beyond its base stats. Each rank slightly increases the value of all affixes on an item, providing incremental improvements to its overall power. Every 4 ranks, a single affix is significantly upgraded, chosen randomly from the affixes on the item. This adds an element of unpredictability to the masterworking process, rewarding players with very powerful upgrades because it's even possible to increase the same affix multiple times. You have to waste a lot of resources for that to happen though. And these are the major itemization changes. To be honest, these updates need to be more than just a band-aid solution. They need to be a game changer. Otherwise, we might as well start saying our goodbyes now, because Diablo 4 won't have much of a future left to speak of. I'm also concerned about the increased reliance on RNG with these new systems and how it may impact the overall player experience. If you want to hear more of my thoughts on these changes and how they might affect the game, be sure to check out my other video linked below. Thanks.